Hi, my name is Seth Perry, and I'm a pastor. I'm also in recovery from addiction. And today I'm going to take 1 minute to talk about vulnerability in early recovery. The following video is not affiliated with any support groups, religions, treatment centers, or institutions. This is an editorial and is not medical advice. Enjoy. All right, addiction, recovery. You know the topic. Vulnerability in early recovery. I've got 1 minute. Start the timer now. So I want to talk about what it's like for someone who comes into recovery. And early recovery really is about 2 years in my books. So in that time, you got to think about what are the things that you're going to be offered that are kind of outside your network of support of good intentioned people. And I can make a list. Some people might offer you business opportunities that might end up being multi-level marketing. Some people might give you dietary supplements that might lead to them offering you steroids. Some people might have some intentions of you joining a cult. Those are all realistic things that you need to be looking out for. And it's so hard because those things, they can actually kind of look like recovery opportunities for you. And you all are very vulnerable in those first 2 years because you want to trust people. You're in a new way of life. And I'll talk more about it, but I tried my best, I guess. All right, now it's time for me to grade and evaluate what I just said. I think I had some good information there and I got off to a good start. I wasn't as succinct as I could have been, and I could have added a few more things. So I'm going to start with you getting clean, and then suddenly you're like, what am I going to do for work? Well, basics. Get a job, just a basic job. All right. You will be vulnerable to things like employers and bosses maybe treating you poorly, and it's hard to have boundaries in those first 2 years of recovery. So I'm going to say this a lot in this reply. I'm going to say have a committee of people that you trust that can support you. Super important in all of this. The only way that you're not going to be taken advantage of by an employer is by having a bunch of people that have got your back, and you're going to have to put that group of people together, right? So it comes with hard work. A job and I had to find a new job when I was in recovery, and I needed a good group of people to help me navigate the workplace clean, right? Because I'd never done it before. I'd used the whole time I'd ever worked, right? So here's the thing, it's not going to come easy. So if someone comes along with a great business opportunity or an investment opportunity, keep it simple for the first 2 years. Say, look, man, these are my first 2 years of recovery. I'm making no major purchases. So I'm not going to buy into your, essential oils business or your network marketing business or your coaching business. I'm not going to become a life coach. Think about that. Think about just basic and unfortunately boring ways of making money. I can't endorse boring more than enough. It's going to help you out a lot in those early years. Like MLMs, they can look like recovery coaches, personal trainers. They can look like job interviews even. You can go to a job interview and then it's network marketing. It's essentially sort of like a pyramid scheme. So do your homework on any company that's trying to employ you. And you can go to glassdoor.com. And you can check it out, through the internet. Do some research, and don't trust anything that's too good to be true. So also the other thing, most clinical staff that are worth their salt, if they're registered social workers, if they're registered counselors, if they're good doctors, if they're real doctors that you're seeing, they're going to help you suss out what's real and what's fake. They're on your side, and use them. Okay, so let's move on to something else that I said. I brought up steroids and all these things that I'm going to cover in later videos, but you want to get healthy. Well, the simple way of really dealing with this in the first 2 years, as you work your way through just staying clean and staying off the drugs that you were using or the alcohol or whatever else you're in recovery from, you want to get healthy, Do it with putting things in your body that you can only buy at the grocery store, right? Just stick to that. That way, you're not going to be sold ridiculous supplements that may not work. And if you're buying stuff from people at the gym, that should be a red flag. I really, really believe this, and steroids are a part of it. Steroids happen a lot for people in early recovery. So instead of maybe getting that steroid body or other ways, maybe diet pills, to instead of looking for that body, maybe work on the inside. Maybe work with your counselor on your image issues that you might have, on body image. I mean, I've had to do a lot of self-acceptance work, and that's why I'm talking about this. I've had to work with a counselor and with a support group of peers on accepting myself and how I look. And I've seen a lot of people do that as well. So that's important. And another thing, you might be having issues with your mood. I didn't mention this before. You might have ups and downs. You might not be able to get out of bed and be cheery. You might have trouble sleeping at night. So don't consult the internet. Don't consult Dr. YouTube. I'm not a clinician, okay? I do not have any clue how you are going to get to bed tonight or how you are going to be happier. I do not have that clue. All I have is an opinion on what has worked for me. And it comes down to the balance part again. And that balance, a message that I have is doctor, counselor, psychologist, psychiatric care, public health nurse, and a support group of people that you have vetted and put together yourself. And trusted family members if you have some too. Make a decision by committee. I cannot stress that enough. So if you have trouble with your mood or you have trouble with sleep and you want to look into it, be patient. Reach out for help. Find that help. And people will guide you that know their trade, that know their profession. Those are the people that are going to help you. It's not going to be some idea that someone has and some product that they're selling that would help you sleep, whether it help level out your mood or help you get happier, something that someone's selling over the internet. Nothing like that. Most likely it'll be possibly prescribed for you, right? But you've got to have a committee. That's really what works for me. Medicine, science, it works. I can't stress that enough. And it might be unpopular for some people because they endorse alternative medicine over top of, of the basic medical system, but it's worked for me. That's all I can say, really. And then I talked a little bit about cults. And again, another topic that I'll probably address specifically in a video, but you need to know the difference between a wellness retreat and a cult. And I know you might think I'm biased because I'm a pastor, but this is just a person in recovery speaking to you. Now, there's awesome things that happen when people, get involved with a specific type of yoga or meditation or any other type of mindfulness. And then, there's appropriate spiritual care practitioners and professionals that work in that area. And they might have wellness retreats. Now that's completely okay. If you find it valuable and you do have the money, sure, do it. But don't do it over rent or food or anything, and don't feel pressured into do it in your first 2 years of recovery. If you have the $200 to go on a yoga retreat, if you have $300 to go on a silent meditation retreat, and you think that that's going to be good for your recovery, I fully endorse that. Now, if you perhaps are invited to go to a free weekend that then turns into a 4 or 5 day thing, or if you get somewhere and you get people saying like, You know, you're being upsold on a package of literature that's, you know, worth $100 or $200, and this is the way for eternal happiness. You know, maybe if it is involved with one specific leader who is, you know, a guru of some sort that is completely independent of any credible faith or religion, I would say maybe that's a red flag too. And if you're being asked in being involved in spiritual retreats or anything to show an extreme sign of loyalty beyond basic reason, that would be your red flag for a cult. If your information is being controlled and you're being separated from family members, if from the very start there's divisive tactics where it's going to say you are going to be given enlightenment and the whole world is going to be against you, that would be a red flag. Are things just way, way longer than you expected? The meetings dragging on, the meditation practices maybe extensive. That also should be a red flag. And I know that this is kind of just my opinion, and it's not done without research. And I will address cults in a upcoming episode as well. But it's something, when I'm thinking about vulnerability for people, that I want to be on your radar. And I would like to tell you guys to trust your gut. But I never did trust my gut. When I was in early recovery, I trusted a committee of trusted people. I built a good support group. That's what I'm talking about. Support group. Bottom line. And that support group was a group of unsolicited individuals. Those people didn't find me. I found them. I approached them. I was not recruited by them. I pieced it together as a system. A counselor, a psychiatrist, a general practitioner, group therapy with another counselor. And then slowly, piece by piece, in my first year, meeting other recovering addicts that were like-minded, that worked with me on a personal level. Personalities, they just clicked. Our past, it just sort of clicked, right? And I started meeting with them and talking to them and doing social things like having coffee together and just talking. Stuff that you can get for free, right? Stuff that I didn't get hooked into. And bit by bit, I knew that as soon as something that came up, like a death in the family, I could just pull up my phone, go through and start calling people, so that I had 6, 7, 8 people that I knew I could trust, that I knew I could fill in on my story. People that would be like, where you been for the last week? I've been thinking about you. Everything going all right? People that could see my emotional state by the look on my face, right? So again, a diverse support group, a balanced support group. That's how I say treat vulnerability in early recovery. So that's what I have for you today. So it's time for me to grade myself like I do in every video. So one thing that I'm going to give myself, and as you can see, I've got this lovely dog up in the right-hand corner of the screen, or maybe it's your left-hand corner of the screen. This is a dog I got in Asheville, Carolina, and it looks exactly like one of my dogs, Spike. So it is a good thing. I'm going to give myself a piece of rawhide. A nice chew toy that any one of my dogs would really love to have. I mean, they have antlers, but rawhide is pretty well known. So I'll give myself a piece of rawhide. And I'm also going to give myself a squeaky chew toy. One that looks like a bunny, because I have a greyhound that used to chase bunnies. So he still would chase a bunny if he saw one too. So I'm going to say that my answer, it was one of my better answers. So it wasn't over 80%. I would say that it would be about 72% I would give myself, because you really want an answer that has a beginning, middle, and end. It had good information in it, but it just sort of was like, I ran out of time. So decent enough answer. I'm happy with that, and I think I got my point across. And all of these things I'm going to be addressing in coming videos. So whatever you think about all this stuff, just throw it in the comments. I'm going to be giving you some links to some other channels in the coming weeks about these topics, because I think they're very important for recovering addicts to look at. So that's what I have for you guys today. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and just remember, there's more videos coming in the coming weeks, and I'll be here just yapping away into my microphone. For whatever reason, I do this, but I have fun doing it. So thanks again for dropping by, and I'll see you next time. There's plenty more videos for you to watch linked right here, and consider going over to my Patreon page at patreon.com/Seth Perry and maybe support the channel. There'll be more videos coming soon. Until then, thank you and have a great day.